Hey guys, do a video. Yeah, this is Fast Times with Darren. Uh, as you may know, probably by now, I'm a socialist. Uh, Obviously, right? And I'm doing this video to kind of going over my political. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Hi guys, today's video is going to be over. I left the left. I'm gonna tell you what that means right now. Okay, so at one point in my life, I was a Democrat. Very short time, but I mean, no. So I wasn't raised really politically, right? And I just learned about politics from kind of like I think the earliest thing about politics I remembered really doing stuff like really had any impact on me was probably the financial crisis in 2008, and Bitcoin came out of that, and I was on forums and stuff talking to like I guess random like hackers online, right? That was the whole edgy stuff that I was into at the time. Uh, is Bitcoin and forums, random internet forums for whatever, right? And and trying to find where I belonged, and it's kind of hard, right? So this journey kind of I got more into it. I got more into it, and then I got around 2010 ish, 2011. I entered high school, and well, I went from middle school to high school, and I was really into Bitcoin. I was really into Bitcoin, and a few years before that, my dad got out of prison, and I mean, guess I like from a young age, I was always kind of jaded about um, the criminal justice system, and I always wanted to make a lot of money. That's very capitalist, right? Very, very, hey, that's like the American dream, right? You go out, start a business, make your own money, fuck everybody else, right? Who the fuck cares about everybody else? And I was kind of living that mindset because when I was younger, I was always about cutting lawns, making money, not really paying taxes, not really caring about other people, care about myself. This guy's pretty selfish, not gonna lie. And I remember being a kid, and I would go out and um, yes, cut lawns, have little like ice containers, and go like down to like the river and sell water, Gatorade or whatever. No permit, nothing. Just I was a kid making money. I used to lemonade stands and stuff like that, and there's a will is a way, right? And I don't really care. I didn't really have that much money family wise anyway, like really to begin with until like I guess I mean on and off about people my mom dated and was friends with, but I never personally had money. We never personally had money. That was kind of that was an issue, I guess, in some ways. But yeah, um, lots of things that kind of involved, I guess, kind of grew some political thing that happened, and I got more involved with watching. Um, who was I watching? I think I was watching um, Dollar Vigilante and like other like anarcho-capitalist YouTubers and stuff like that. And you're like, they're like, yeah, the government's wrong and stuff like that, and very like, oh, hey, you're not going to learn about this in U.S. history books. And I was like, oh, cool, that's kind of really interesting. I didn't know that. And you look it up, and you're like, oh, this is really cool, and you really get kind of sucked into this stuff. And I was a kid, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And then around that time, I think around 2012, I was kind of really marinating in this stuff. I think that's when Ben Shapiro started hitting the scene. Was it 2012? 2012 for me, 2013. And I was like, yeah, this guy kind of makes some sense. And I was getting into like this whole, like and I mean, I was a kid. I was going through a lot of shit. I was drinking. I was yeah, I was drinking underage, right? Huh. Family problems, always. I was dealing with probably some abandonment issues, probably from both my parents. And yeah, there's a few stories in there too. But you know, it kind of goes to this thing where I'm like, I just wanted. I was having go. I was, I was. I got confirmed in Catholic Church, and then, but I was also kind of like, I was also losing faith at the same time, which is weird. And I was like, I think I was like 16. Then lots of stuff. Like I was kind of like atheist, kind of agnostic around that time too. And tried to commit suicide at one point. Lots of stuff happened. And then I was very also I used to wear like in my younger days would be like an anarcho-capitalist. I was also like in Futures Business Leaders of America, FFA, Key Club, uh, not National Honor Society, stuff stuff like that. Like very community service. I was like it was I was like, okay, hey, look, if everyone does community service, then we're all good. Then we don't need the government. That's kind of what I thought. That was kind of going in my mind. And then I was around around I don't know, junior year of high school for me. Junior senior year of high school. I was more got more into lots of things. Started learning about the Gilded Age a little more. I learned about unions. I learned about I mean, it kind of made me hate the government even more, which was when I learned about unions, and then I started learning about unions and how they got shot by some business owners, and the government didn't really stop that. I was like, okay, this government is supposed to help me. It didn't. Like it's supposed to help these people, and it kind of doesn't. And it's kind of like, okay, well, that's the old past. Maybe it's better now. And then you start to get kind of these things of like, you look around, you're like, oh man, these tech companies, everything else is kind of big, it's kind of monopolized. And you're like, okay, this is pretty much it's shit. Like, okay, and you still see all these problems. And I mean, this is back then, and I was kind of, I was a little, I mean, I was back then, I was privatized everything, right? I was young. I used to when I was really young, though, I used to wear the whole suits and stuff, and the fedora and stuff, and that was fun too, right? And well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And around 2015, about the so about 2015, 2015 is when I started doing deep web type of stuff. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that was going on there, right? So I kind of was like, oh, cool, it's a dark web. It's very elusive and stuff. It's very it's like it's very gritty, real, it's raw. It's like, okay, this is what the government doesn't want you to know about and stuff like that. And it maybe that turned me away. I mean, part of it. And then I started to look at different things. And then and then I kind of started thinking of like these certain issues, like around 2015, that when Bernie Sanders started to announce for his run, and I didn't know who this guy was, but his ideas, for some reason, kind of spoke to me. I mean, like, I think they spoke to a lot of the young people. It's like, hey, I mean, like, because I was a poor Hispanic kid from like, I mean, like, not the best neighborhood. With like no college fund, like I was like, no college fund. Like my grades were okay enough to get me into college, but I had no money to actually go to college. And when I applied for scholarships, I didn't get that much money for scholarship. And like I used my money to um like to pay bail for my parents and stuff like that. And it's just like stuff that kind of went down. And I mean, people pay me back and everything eventually, and um, that's whatever. It doesn't matter now, right? But I personally like helping people out, and so I kind of left. I was still skeptical of the government, but I kind of left the whole anarcho-capitalist and that like right-wing libertarianism to be more. I'm going to be a. I was like, I like Bernie. That's what I was. I was like, I like Bernie Sanders. And this time I was kind of like more of a Bernie-crat. I was like, okay, the Democrats don't seem too bad. I mean, I got Obamacare when I was in high school. So like, but I was still like that. I was getting this subsidized healthcare, but yet I was like very like, oh, you know what? It could be way cheaper if we just get all the government regulation out and everything else. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what I thought. And then to me, it's like, no, these companies are kind of greedy. Like, that's kind of I thought. It's like, why would they want to help me? Like, they don't need to help me. Like, why? To me, I mean, to a government, I'm just a number, and to a company, I'm just a number. To the customer, I'm just, and wait, I'm only a customer if I have money to a uh, to a company, but I'm at least a voter at the age of 18 to the government. That's kind of how I rationalized, I guess, my transition from being like a hardcore like right wing libertarian kind of anarcho capitalist in a way, very like government, very like that, into this kind of thing. And my dad kind of had some influence on me for that, where I was reading some books and it's kind of like really conspiracy theorist type shit, and very like because he's more of an anarchist. He doesn't trust government. He doesn't trust anything. I mean, he partially wants to the whole civilization to he thought the whole civilization would end eventually, like with some big EMP or some bullshit like that. But yeah, my mom was more of a was she a liberal? I mean, not really. She was. My mom's like not really political. My grandmother. I mean, there's a variation of like CNN and Fox News when I was growing up, depending on who was president. I didn't really care. Um, but like, I mean, at the time, I didn't even like Obama. I mean, I didn't like. I never liked Obama. I thought he was. I think at one point, I thought he was okay. And this one was more Bernie Cross. Like, yeah, this is like I was like, okay, Bernie's like the next person in line for after Obama. That's what I kind of figured. But like, there's this weird thing though. Like throughout all this time, I did readings for like I read Atlas Shrugged. But like when it came to theory back then though, I didn't read much of theory. Like the only thing, I mean, most things I read back then were like sci-fi and adventure books and stuff. It was never any theory or anything. It was never there's nothing backing me up. The only thing I fucking got were talking points from like people I kind of knew and from videos. And like I see a lot of young people kind of fall into that thing too on both sides, on left and right, where it's like they don't really know. They take for granted whatever they hear, and I'm like, okay, probably take a step back, because I'm about to go. There's more of it to this whole story later on, where I I got really far to the left, where I was a tanky at one point. I was a still an apologist, but before that, in like 2015, 2016, 2015, I was 18, and I was going to community college. So around 2018, 2019, I mean, 2016-ish, I think I voted for the Green Party, because it was either the Green Party or the Libertarian Party before. Because to me, the Green Party seemed like the best for most of my values. I've still kind of skeptical of the government, and I lost a lot of friends over that. Actually, I lost this girl that I was kind of talking to for a bit. She called me. She told me um, because of you, or yeah, because of you. Um, what did she say to me? She said, "You're the reason that Trump won." And I'm like, "We live in a red state," and she pushed me against the locker and just stopped talking to me. So that was fun. Yeah, I'm not bitter about that at all. But there's a lot of stuff that happened. And then I went to yeah, oh yeah, a lot of libertarians actually messaged me on my Snapchat and then everything and Snapchat, my Facebook at one point. They were like, "Oh, you went for Green Party? You're a fucking commie. You're blah 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 blah." And for me, I was like, "Well, shit. Like they're fucking crazy." That's what I thought. Like these people are fucking crazy. They're like, I went from being like, "Oh yeah, you're a cool guy, or whatever, whatever," to being like, "Oh no, you're an ugly piece of shit." Like, I was like, okay. I mean, like, dude, I mean, like, fuck, I've been bullied since fucking high school. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, I just don't really care. Like to the opinion, I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And like, this is like the meanest thing ever, because like some of them, what, like four of them, four out of like fucking 10 people unfollowed or blocked me on fucking Snapchat because of this shit. Just because I voted for Green Party, and I started like going and trying to learn about because at the time I think I was a registered libertarian party, a registered libertarian when I was like 20. Yeah, because no, was I 20? 19. I might have been 19. 19 or 20. I was a registered libertarian, and then I was registered for the Green Party. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And I was also at this thing. There was this thing called the Communist Party USA, which I was kind of going into. I started watching some of their videos and some of their stuff. I was like, this is kind of, more than what Bernie said. It was what Bernie was saying, a little more like context behind it. Cool. And I started reading into it. And I was reading into both, and this is the time when I started actually reading both. I started reading Adam Smith. I started reading Hayek and dang, what was the guy? What was that? Oh my gosh, The Economist. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm gonna remember the guy's name later on. I don't remember the guy's name. Oh, wow, Friedman. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, but yes, I started reading like very libertarian free market type stuff, and I also started reading a whole bunch of. I read the Communist Manifesto I read it because it was kind of like taboo and stuff, and it was 2015 when I started reading Communist Manifesto, but it didn't really have that much of an impact on me. Okay, cool. Bernie's kind of cool. And I was always like a big Second Amendment kind of guy, just because guns are Texas, guns are a thing, and that's always been a thing about me. A lot of stuff happened. It was like, I guess, so let me see. I was like 20 years old because I'm 23 right now. Yeah, I was about 20 years old, 21, and 20, yeah, 20 to 21. I was getting way more radicalized by just people off the left, where I became like very, since a lot of my libertarian friends and everything kind of just pushed me away. And like, a lot of conservatives pushed me away too. So I was kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go full on lefty. Kind of what I thought. And like, cause I mean, I don't need anybody. So I just kind of, I'm a lonely person anyways. So I kind of just, say, look, I have a lot of books, and I started going into these lefty circles, and I'm like, cool. And I got taught like self defense and stuff like that at some meetings. I got taught a lot of stuff. I started protesting for 5 for 15 and some other stuff, and very mundane stuff. Then I started going to other things where this is kind of where I almost became where I was pseudo tanky-ish, pseudo Marxist Leninist type shit. America's always wrong, propaganda, American propaganda, blah 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 blah. don't believe anything the America says. And so I was like, oh, okay, maybe the USSR is pretty good. Maybe all that stuff's wrong that they say. And there's because there's a CIA document, so that means what was it? A lot like it was just a lot of stuff where I was like a Stalin apologist at one point, and then later on, like, you know what? Nah, this dude did some pretty bad shit. Like I was like, yeah, like, I was like, kind of went to this whole thing where this dude did some pretty bad shit, and I'm not just gonna like sit here and just shut my mouth for that. Like that's not how that's gonna work. Like, and then I started when I start to feel like I'm just when I personally feel like I start to talk like I'm on eggshells. That's kind of when I distance myself from a lot of things. 'Cause, I mean, that means you just don't want to hear what I say. That's kind of how it is. I start distancing myself. How long is this video? So yeah, uh, yeah. So yeah, I start distancing myself from a lot of things. I'm still kind of getting a little through depression occasionally. Still am. But so I started leaving like the whole Marxist-Leninist thing, where I was like, it's not too much. It's too much. It's too authoritarian. I didn't like it. It's very cringe. It was like, oh, very LARPy, very like, oh, we have a revolution, like a year. I'm like, okay, cool. No, and then I still like the protest. I still like going to protest. Still like um, actual progressivism. Like moving towards a goal and making sure that people, are taken care of. I didn't like the whole revolution thing, and that was just no, that was just not my thing. And so that kind of got me. It didn't get me away from being a leftist. That's just not. That just no. It got me away from that kind of toxicity, though. So I kind of just left that, and I went towards more. I was kind of more of like a liberal at one point. I kind of was like, okay, let me come. It was kind of like more of a liberal. Like, it was very progressive in a way. I was very more of a progressive, like a sock dim. I was more of a social dim, where I'm like, okay, I like Medicare for all. I like I don't even think the Green New Deal was. Oh yeah, I guess it was because it was like 20. I was like 21 when I was like that, and I was like, yeah, because I was still kind of like, I was kind of going back to my roots of I want to start a business, and I kind of always been like that, where I want to start something, I want to do something, I like doing it, and I started kind of going to this thing, and I started going onto a binge, and that's when I kind of found I stepped away from the CPUSA, and I kind of went towards the PSA, and I was reading this, and that's when like AOC just got or was running. Was it 20? Let me see. Was it 21? I mean 22. Whatever. Well, so it might be. So yeah, it's a little bit before AOC was started to run, and I was like, oh. I started reading that stuff, and I went to a couple of meetings at the Austin DSA, and that was fun. And like it was a lot more chill, a lot more relaxing, a lot more what's the word? Accepting. That's probably a good word. And then I kind of was more, and then for me, I was still kind of reading at this time. I was reading more theory, reading more stuff, reading about like people's actual like experiences under socialism, under capitalism, the struggles, slavery, feminism, workers' rights, stuff like just like stuff like that, like diaries and memoirs, biographies, autobiographies, and I kind of got to think, I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool, and I started to like really, when Bernie started running again, I was like, that's kind of cool, like I was kind of when Bernie started running again, I was already kind of radical, like I'm already like, I've been libertarian socialist slash kind of like anarchist in a lot of aspects, and like currently for the past over a year, 2 years roughly. Yeah, 2 years. Cause I'm like 20. I'm about to be 24. So yeah, like 2 years, maybe a little over that. So yeah, that's kind of what I started reading, and then I kind of got way more into reading, so much, and then I was like, I want to be a leader, and then I tried to start a YDSA chapter at my community college. That didn't work out, so I went to the current college that I'm at right now, university, and yeah, I'm a socialist. So yeah, I left the left. I left the left, left the right. Yeah, no, because a lot of people say when they say they left the left, they actually mean they left the Democratic Party, and I did in a way because I don't like the Democratic Party. I don't like the Republican Party either. I think it's I think you should I think everyone should at least know their issues, at least have a solid grasp on they should have a solid grasp of what the issues they are. So I think people should have a solid grasp on what their actual issues are and what they want to fight for. Like for me, for example, I want to fight for voting rights, um, Second Amendment, uh, probably helping the homeless. That's probably a big one for me, just because just my past experience. That's lots of stories I could tell everybody. A lot of I live in a very fucked up life. Um, but fought a lot of people trying to fuck with homeless people. I just don't like it. I literally, um, but no, you should have issues that you really want and fight. Like labels, I don't give a fuck about labels, to be honest. Because I mean, people call me socialist, call me anarchist. I don't give a fuck, really. Like okay, you're a leftist. That's probably the most general term you could use for me, leftist, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Socialist is probably another general term you could use for me. Again, I don't give a fuck. Um, it's when things start having like if you try to fit to a T into a single ideology, I think that's when people start to resist. Okay, so you either resist or you conform to it, and like kind of what happens. Like there's a lot of issues that I mean, there's issues that I care deeply about that kind of led me to be a socialist. That's the easiest way to fucking put it. And it's not that there's any. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it. It's there are issues that led me to be a socialist, and I left the left, as in I left the Democratic Party, because the Democratic Party is not leftist. They're just like they're. I mean, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are both essentially what nonprofits. They're corporations at some point. They take money and they have elected officials and they fucking control their government. I think it's bullshit. And I don't know. This video's probably way too fucking long already. I don't care. I mean, but if always like and subscribe, comment below if you're like left, right, Democrat, Republican. I really want to know. It'll be kind of fun. Yeah, a lot of shit that happened to me. Yeah, led me down this path and led me down other paths and other stuff. I could literally talk about my whole fucking long history for like hours. I kind of have a monotone voice. I know. Probably puts people to sleep or some stuff. I don't really feel enthusiastic, especially today. lots of reasons. But yeah, my voice probably. Yeah, hope y'all having a good time around, right? Like, subscribe, tune into everybody else's episodes. You'd be fun. Really cool.